Did you know that there are over 20,000 bee species worldwide? Each is adapted to its own way of life. Some live in large colonies, others live alone. Some build underground nests. Some carve tunnels in wood or hollow stems. Together, these insects help sustain ecosystems on nearly every continent. Bees are vital pollinators. They collect nectar and pollen, moving pollen between flowers so plants can reproduce. Many flowering plants depend on this process. Without it, seeds and fruit would become rare, and food webs would weaken. But the story of bees is not only about agriculture or honey production, it is about diversity. Different species perform different ecological roles, often in ways invisible to us. The diversity of bees becomes especially evident as seasons change. In early spring, when temperatures are still cold enough to keep many insects inactive, bumblebees begin to emerge. A queen bumblebee spends winter underground, alone. She survives months of freezing temperatures. When spring comes, she digs out and searches for flowers. Early blooms are few, but critical. They give her the energy to start a new colony. Bumblebees are especially important in cooler climates because they can regulate their body temperature by vibrating their flight muscles. This allows them to fly in conditions too cold for many other pollinators. Bumblebees are large and covered in hair, so they carry pollen well. Some plants, like tomatoes and blueberries, need buzz-pollination. The bee grabs the flower and vibrates its body to release pollen. Bumblebees are among the few that do this efficiently. As spring turns to summer, the colony grows. Workers spread outward across meadows, forests, and farmland. Their activity supports wildflowers, shrubs, and crops alike. Yet even bumblebees cannot pollinate every plant on their own. Following on from bumblebees, another specialized group appears. In dry soil beneath grasslands and gardens, another kind of bee quietly carries out its own work. Mining bees live alone. They have no queen, hive, or worker caste. Each female builds and fills her own underground nest. Humans may only see a small hole in bare earth or a tiny mound of soil. But beneath the surface lies a network of chambers filled with pollen and nectar collected for developing larvae. These solitary bees are efficient pollinators. Honeybees gather nectar from many plants in one trip, but solitary bees often focus on one flower type. This helps transfer pollen between plants of the same species. Some solitary bees evolved with specific plants over thousands of years. Their bodies, feeding habits, and timing match the flowers they visit. This relationship brings stability, but at a cost. A plant may rely on one bee species. That bee depends on the plant to survive. If one disappears, the other may soon follow. Shifting from underground nests, we find mason bees in orchards across parts of Europe and North America, where they perform another specialized role. Mason bees are gentle, solitary bees that nest inside hollow stems or cracks in wood. Rather than producing wax, they use mud to divide and seal the chambers of their nests. Mason bees are tiny but great pollinators. Apples, pears, and cherries thrive thanks to their activity. Fewer mason bees are needed to pollinate orchards than honeybees because they transfer pollen efficiently. Unlike honeybees, mason bees don't carry pollen in baskets on their legs. Instead, pollen sticks to the dense hairs on their abdomen. As they move between blossoms, they release more pollen onto flowers. Moving now to tropical forests, another group of bees performs a very different task. Orchid bees, mostly in Central and South America, are known for their metallic colors and odd behavior. Males collect scents from flowers and orchids and store them in leg structures. Scientists believe these collected fragrances help males attract mates. As they travel between orchids, orchid bees pollinate plants that many other insects cannot access. Some orchids have evolved so specifically alongside these bees that their pollination depends almost entirely on them. This is a clear example of coevolution, whereby, over long periods, plants and pollinators shape each other's evolution. Transitioning from lush forests to arid landscapes, leafcutter bees continue their work under even harsher conditions. Leafcutter bees cut circles from leaves and bring them to their nests. The leaf pieces line chambers and protect larvae from heat and dryness. Desert ecosystems look barren, but seasonal flowering depends on pollinators. Specialist bees appear when certain plants bloom, sometimes for just a few weeks each year. Timing is everything. Recent studies show that different wild bee species pollinate plants at different times of year. Some are active in spring, others work in late summer. This seasonal pattern helps plants and crops get pollination year-round. Alongside these wild bees, which inhabit specific ecological niches, we find the honeybee. Perhaps no bee is more familiar to humans. Honeybees live in big colonies. There can be tens of thousands in one hive. Workers share jobs efficiently. Some forage, others guard. Some care for larvae or manage hive temperature. Through the famous Waggle dance, foragers communicate the location of food sources to nestmates using movement and vibration. Honeybees are key farm pollinators. They help crops such as almonds, cucumbers, and many other fruits. Managed hives are moved between farms to boost food production. Scientists increasingly emphasize an important point. Wild bees provide enormous ecological value. In many habitats, they pollinate the majority of native flowering plants. Diverse bee communities also create resilience. If one species declines, others may continue supporting pollination. Such diversity matters because ecosystems are rarely stable. Weather patterns move, flowering seasons change, droughts transform landscapes. A single pollinator species cannot meet all the challenges on its own. Having explored their ecological roles, it is crucial to note that today, many bee populations face serious pressures. Habitat loss is a major threat. Wildflower meadows, hedgerows, forests, and soils are replaced by roads, cities, and agriculture. Bees lose both nesting sites and food at once. Pesticides also contribute to declines, particularly when chemicals affect navigation, reproduction, or larval development. Climate change brings new problems. As temperatures change, flowering times may not match pollinator life cycles. A bee emerging too early or too late may find few flowers. Research also suggests that high densities of managed honeybees can sometimes place pressure on wild bee populations through competition for floral resources and disease transmission. Still, there are practical ways to support bee diversity. Protecting natural habitats is best. Even small patches of native flowers provide food for the bees. Leave bare soil, keep dead wood, and use fewer pesticides to help solitary bees find nests. Metropolitan areas can also serve as important refuges. Gardens, parks, and green roofs support increasingly diverse bee populations when planted thoughtfully. A closer look reveals that bees are not interchangeable creatures serving a single purpose. Each species occupies its own ecological niche. Bumblebees pollinate in cold weather and vibrate pollen from stubborn flowers. Mason bees excel in orchards. Leafcutter bees endure harsh, dry landscapes. Mining bees quietly sustain wildflowers beneath our feet. Orchid bees maintain ancient relationships within tropical forests. And countless other species, many still poorly understood, continue their work unnoticed. United, bees create stability and ensure the living world's resilience. These small insects shape ecosystems, food security, and the balance of nature. Their work remains constant. For the most part, it goes unobserved. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and visit us again as we explore the wonders of nature around us. If you enjoy our channel, consider becoming a member. In addition to other benefits, you will receive exclusive access to videos before they are released to the public.